So anyway, Frank, why don't we tell our listeners a little bit about what Mayor Layton and how this relates to the kings and queens, right, Michael, and who's involved with all of this stuff?
Anybody who has been following this story has heard what the mayor has said, and that is that the credit union has absolutely no affiliation or relationship to city government. It is an independent from city government, and it merely rents space at a rate of $750 a month from City Hall. That's it.
So let me stop you there, Frank, and once again, so people can understand this whole idea, this credit union.
Correct. The Wilkes-Barre City Employees Federal Credit Union serves the employees of city government, the Wilkes-Barre Township government, as well as Plains Township government and their families. That's it. If you are not a family member of an employee of those three governments that I mentioned, you may not join.
So what has happened here in the past 2 weeks or so, the head of the credit union, allegedly, and we're going to say allegedly here, committed suicide. Took his own life. Okay, and in that whole, we're also privy to the fact that they're being looked at. Correct.
Correct. The credit union, the director of the Scranton FBI has stated that the credit union itself has become a not necessarily a target of investigation, but they've been looking at the credit union and subpoenaing their records and statements of their employees.
And if we nibble around the edges a little bit here, Michael, too, is that because we have. Last week, I mentioned that I was called into the FBI, or we sat down with the FBI, and they asked us for some more information, and we're welcoming people, and they're asking for our help and all the media's help to get that information out there to come forward. I could say, and like I said last week, I was very encouraged. In fact, when I first went into the FBI, the first thing I said, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, was the word on the street, we can't trust you guys either. And they understand that. Right. And they understand that there is a barrier here that people are putting up and saying, wait a minute, who can we trust? I feel comfortable going to them. I'm going to encourage people to give them that information, and because it looks as though that they are digging deeper and deeper and deeper into this.
They absolutely are. They have a new director, Mr. Quinn, who took over there. Awesome gentleman at the Scranton FBI, and they're doing a lot of good work. So definitely we encourage you to contact them if you have any information. So
anyway, so here we now, they're looking at the credit union, and they're saying, wait a minute, what's going on? Now, am I off base when I say that it seems as though there are unsecured loans tied into perhaps lag towing with the cars that all of a sudden... That's what it looks like. And we read recently Mr. Glodzik also made a statement to the press in last week's edition of one of the Wilkes-Barre papers, where he said you can go ahead and check. None of the titles have made it to the credit union. You can look. None of my titles are there. So my cars are not involved. And that's what he said. And I wholeheartedly believe Leo's telling the truth, that none of his titles made it down there. Doesn't mean the cars weren't used as collateral. None of the titles were encumbrance to the credit union. So understand the difference. So, Michael, I think Frank's nibbling around the edges here, too.